Alright, quick update on OGN. So it looks like we've fallen through our 618 Fibonacci at 49 cent. We talked about this in my last video. We said, we need to hold this green box, the last line in the sand being the 618 before we come all the way down to the 786 Fibonacci down here at 38 cents. So unfortunately, it looks like OGN wants to take one leg further to the downside before we could have a potential bottom. Now, the move down to the 786 is a further 14%, and this is what the daily's calling. If we look at what's happening on the 4-hourly, it seems like, where is our momentum indicator? Let's get our squeeze mom in here. So it looks like the 4-hourly squeeze mom is heading down quite strongly. So I imagine even if we come up in the next 4 hours, between the next 4 to 12 hours, I think it could be possible we could have another run-in with the short-term moving average. I don't personally see us coming up to the long-term moving average at 53 cent because we've, the time between topping over the long-term moving average before did take quite a distance. So I expect best case scenario for OGN potentially to have a move back up to 50 cent within the next 12 hours before we do come down and fill this 786 target. Now, I'm not focusing too much on the 4-hourly price targets. I really want to focus on what's going on the daily because it's up in the air whether we're going to come up to 50 cent to come into these EMA ribbons, but it seems pretty clear cut to me that OGN wants to come down to 38 cent. Now, for the reasons I've already said and the daily squeeze mom, I mean, it's continuing to head down. We somewhat reset the bearish momentum coming into these dark red candles, and now we are pushing to the downside. If we look at the MFI and the RSI, the MFI is just very, very overextended. I mean, we've seen an influx of money since this dip here, and it really hasn't held up too well. So I'm not liking too much how fast the MFI has turned up. Nonetheless, the past 3 times we've gone on absolutely crazy rallies on the MFI, we have just gone up in a straight line. So this kind of does prove that OGN is a very euphorically moving coin. If you notice this move that we've done here, this could potentially be the local top. So I imagine it would probably take a while for us to come back up to this top. Previously we were talking about this $1 price target since we were down here at, I think it was 30 cent that we entered, or 38. It was somewhere around about here. I don't remember the exact price. We took our first profit at 85 cent. I was still thinking we were going to move up to $1 if I'm completely honest, but the market structure, the bullish market structure has been taken out. It's not looking the greatest right now. And if we do put in another daily close below 49 cent, which it looks like we're getting ready to do, then I have to assume that this price target down here at the 786 Fibonacci at between 38 and 39 cent is on the table. Now, in the more macro term, looking at the RSI, we are near a bottom. So I am really of the opinion that OGN has bottomed down here at the 23 cent, 24 cent. I'm really not saying that OGN is going to come down and sweep the lows again, but looking at this, the micro market structure has been broken. It is looking like we do want to come down to these lower price targets. If we take the most recent micro move, we've got a double fib between 39 and 36 cent approximately. So I'd be comfortable calling for a move down to 39. That is your 786 Fibonacci. 15% move from where we are now. I think this is very much supported by the momentum indicators that we are currently seeing in the crypto market, OGN specifically, but more deeply, it is supported by the very mundane action that we're seeing right now in Bitcoin. Now, if you haven't been watching my channel for a couple of weeks, a month or so, I've been calling for a while since we were in these EMA ribbons at 43,000 for us to come down to 39.5, have a strong bounce, and then that was what I was saying I believe would be the bottom. Now, we nailed the first part, but so far it's really up in the air. Is Bitcoin going to reverse at this point? This candle that we just saw where we had a huge push up to 40,700 and then a huge push down to 39,700 really tells me that Bitcoin's being indecisive right now, and Bitcoin could potentially have one quick move down to 39,000, which is really not far away from where we are now. Honestly, I could see it happening. I really don't want to predict lower price targets for Bitcoin because I've been calling 39.5. I've been saying that is my gut feeling where we're going to bottom. I'm not going to switch up on that now, but my last line in the sand is 39.5. I did just want to highlight, even though this is an OGN video, that Bitcoin is accumulating bearish momentum to the downside while we should be having a strong bounce. So it's kind of worrying what we're seeing in Bitcoin right now, and because of that, the markets are a little bit spooked. OGN specifically, you know, we really didn't respect this 618 too well. We slipped for it a few times, tried to have a rally, got rejected from the 200-day. I told you this was the moon line, the 200-day currently at 65. If we have a reversal, put in a daily close above 65 cent, so be it. I'd need to see a back test and then I'd be very confident to enter a trade on OGN. Currently, unfortunately, that is one of my least likely scenarios. I am unfortunately expecting a little bit more turbulence for OGN in the short term before we do, in my opinion, find our bottom between 39 cent. And if we come over to the 4 hour to get the specific price target of this recent micro move, like I said, between 39 and 36 cent, that is the lowest I believe OGN will go. I think if we look at this 4 hourly MFI, like, money has completely dipped, like, in the short term. Bear in mind this is the short term, so I mean, it's the same on the RSI as well. It looks like we've had a very strong bottom down here, so I wouldn't put it past OGN to potentially have one more bounce before we do come down to fill the lows. But I really, if it doesn't come down to the lows, you know, I would be very, very confused, because we've had 1, 2, 3, and we're coming on for 4 daily closes below the 618, and this is a pretty much micro fib, so I really find it hard to believe OGN is going to reverse without coming down to the 786. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you think below. I think 39 cent is on the table. Nonetheless, I'm not shorting this right now. The last trade I made on this, we were down here at 30 cent. We came all the way up to 85. I told you I was taking profit up here. I also told you I was looking to reinvest that profit if we came down to the 618 and had a bounce. I did not enter this. Luckily, once we did have a bounce, I was not on my computer at the time, but nonetheless, Bitcoin started to landslide, so we had to switch our perspective anyway. And I'm not liking what I see on Bitcoin, so I'm personally sitting on the sidelines, waiting for Bitcoin to bottom, waiting for OGN to bottom. If you see Bitcoin tomorrow having a strong rally coming up to 42.5 and breaking it, so be it. That might be the bottom. I'd be a lot more confident to enter OGN then. Until then, I'm going to be sitting on the sidelines. I'm going to be watching the chart. I'm going to be looking to play from a position of strength on a bounce, potentially down here at 39 cent. That is all I see for OGN. Best of luck, not financial advice. Cowboy out. Peace.